Boys and girls, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. In the past few videos, I've been rebuilding this Honda Civic Coupe, which I bought looking like this. No, you're not seeing things. I bought a car that looks like a squashy, and I've been on a mission to save it. So I sanded the whole car down and sent it to have a full respray, then put the car back together to take us to where we are now. In the last video on the Civic, I took it for its MOT, which it passed with just a few advisories. One of those being a smashed mirror glass, but I'm getting new mirrors, so let's not worry about that. The other advisory was the number plate bulb. And the last advisory, the drive side tie rod had quite a bit of play in it. And the power steering's making an awful noise, so I'm gonna sort that as well. And in today's video, I'm gonna take the Civic for its first drive. And you're probably thinking, why are you taking it for its first drive when it's a standard Civic? Now, let me explain something to you all. I want to enjoy every stage of this car because I feel that's one regret I have after building my E36. I bought this car bog standard and I built it whilst it was off the road, which meant I didn't get a chance to appreciate any of the mods I'd done to it. And I don't want to make that mistake again, so with this car, I'm going to enjoy every step of the process. Which, yeah, that does mean driving it completely standard. Don't worry, we're going to have a lot of fun. But before I do that, I'm gonna get all of the advisories sorted. The last thing we want is to be hitting big limiters and that wheel comes off. On that note, Bailey has just brought another Civic hatch. New whippers at bud. And he wasted no time in doing the first mod to it. He raised the spoiler up, which is an easy mod. You just need to make 2 brackets. And I think it looks pretty sick. And then Carl turned up with his turbo EP3. Right. But at this point, the unit is starting to look a little bit like a B-Tech Fast and Furious movie. Speaking of B-Tech Fast and Furious, we're off to a car meet.
And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name. Oh, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun?
All jokes aside, there's some serious cars at that meet. It gave me some big inspiration to get my car ready so I can start having some fun in a car again. But before I do anything to make this car cool, I've got some issues I need to sort. First things first, let's get this power steering sorted. And to do that, I'm going to change the power steering pump, which is what that whining noise is. There's bearings inside the pump which dry out and it sounds awful. So first things first, I'll loosen the tension off the belt just so I can get that off. Then I undid the mounting bracket, which freed the whole pump. Now it's time to undo this line that goes into the top of the pump. There's only 2 pipes. This is a really easy job. I'm gonna chuck this underneath in case there's any spillages, which I'm sure there will be, because I am the clumsiest person on this earth. I think it's about time that I bought a tripod. This is a nightmare. Honestly, trying to do this one-handed was a nightmare. You will all be pleased to know, since this video, I have bought a tripod. And now it's time just to pull the pump out. So, here's the new pump. I mean, I say new, it's brand used, but I'm hoping it's gonna sort the issue. Let's put it on and find out. Right, let's get it back together. I'd love to tell you an in-depth tutorial on how to do this, but I'm no mechanic. I'm literally just learning. I'll be honest, I watched a YouTube video before doing this, which is what I'd recommend to any of you that want to try work on your car. Just watch a YouTube video on it before and just give it a go, because that's the only way we're all gonna learn how to do it ourselves. I normally find putting it back together is harder than taking it apart. So what I suggest is take a photo of what you're taking apart before you do it. So if you do get stuck, you can see where things go. The new pump's in, well, the brand new pump's in. Fingers crossed, it sorts the issue. I'm just going to top the fluid back up because obviously I leaked a little bit. I don't know why I've done this without a funnel and I put way too much in, but it's all part of learning, right? But when we started steering, it soon pumped out the fluid that we didn't need. It's now time to find out if it's fixed it. It's not a positive start. Now when you fit a new pump, there's no fluid in it. By steering lock to lock, it pushes all the fluid through the pump to stop that noise. It's getting better. There we go. That sounds much better. That's the power steering issue sorted. But there ain't no time to rest. I'm now going to crack on with the next problem. And you don't have to be no mechanic to see what's wrong there. Let's get the wheel off and see exactly what's going on. So there seems to be quite a bit of play in the tie rod and the bottom ball joint. So I'm going to change them both just to prevent any future issues. I probably should have used something else to hold the caliper up, but I only had one jack stand. The suspension leg's off. Let's try and get that ball joint out. Now, this is not how you're supposed to use this tool. There's supposed to be a cup that will go over the top of the ball joint, but to get that on, you have to take the disc off, which my two grub screws on the disc were rounded. This is going to be fun. After many attempts of trying to use this tool completely the wrong way, the thing that done it in the end was a metal wedge. Right, now that's out, let's get the new one in. Voila, it's back in. Time to get it put back on the car. Now you're probably asking yourself, wasn't the whole reason I took this car apart was to change the tie rod end, right? And I'll be the first person to put my hands up and say, I completely forgot to order it. And I can't shut the unit door without putting the wheel on to move it back. So let's get it back together until they arrive. It's near enough, all back together. I am no mechanic and I want you to all learn with me because really, how hard can it be, right? I feel like I might regret saying that. Now I've just got to do up the hub nut and the two grub screws for the disc. Now please, don't do them up tight if you do this on your own car. Just a tiny little nip, that's all they need. It's a fresh day with the parts I need to sort this. And you're probably wondering, Nathan, what are you doing with a grinder? Now, I'm the first person to put my hand up when I make a mistake. And like I say, I want you to all learn with me. Now, when I was putting it back together last night, I used a gun on the ball joint, which, as I've now been told by an actual mechanic, that's a big no-no. So I destroyed the thread on the bottom nut, so really the only option I have is to cut it off. But I've got a new inner and outer tie rod anyway, so lesson learned for next time. That was a bit of a mission, but I'm pretty certain I deserved it.
How hard can it be, right?
I did say I'd regret saying that. I think that's all the issues sorted, which means it's time for the bit you've all been waiting for. I am so glad that that's finally done. I think it's time to take it for its first drive. And for me to find out how fun a 1.6 Civic actually is. Before we go anywhere, let me quickly change that number plate bulb. Much better. I think it's about time we put some fuel in this car. It's been running on fumes for way too long. Do people that aren't into cars still do the little rattle thing you do to stop any fuel dripping on your paint? Let me know in the comments. So I managed to do less than 1 mile before I reached my first issue. It was almost as if the power steering was fighting against me. I almost couldn't steer it with 2 hands on the wheel. It was really tight and it started making noise again. So I can only presume the pump I put in it was faulty. So I put another one in, hoping that it will sort the issue. Because if it doesn't, this could be the fate of my Civic. And there's me thinking that Hondas are meant to be reliable. This car has been a nightmare. So, I think I've got to the bottom of the steering issue. I'm pretty certain it's the steering rack because we put another pump on it as you saw in the last clip. And I've now got power steering and it isn't locking up like it was, but it's still quite noisy. So I think it might be the rack. So that's going to be a future Nathan problem, but let's take it for his first drive. This is actually the first time I've properly driven this car because I refused to drive it home as it was because obviously, as you saw at the start, I bought this car looking like a squashy. So my little brother drove it home. I think the first thing we should do is hit some limiter. So let's do that. slow for long. I've got a new engine for it. Do you know what it is? It actually handles so badly. The body roll is actually stupid. Every time I go around a corner, I feel like the thing's gonna roll. Oh no! It does sound cool though, but it hasn't got an airbox at the minute, so might be half the issue. You can literally see I'm like pretty much out of the seat at this point. It's horrible! If I'm being 100% honest, this car is horrible to drive right now. But that's like the steering wheel, the gear throw feels massive. Everything's so high up, I feel like my head's touching the roof. I know I've got a big Swede, like, there's plenty to sort in this car, but it's nice to drive it standard so I can appreciate every mod I do to it in the future. Let's hit some more limiters. I think it sounds alright. I think that's enough sense for one day. I can't believe how well this car's taken it. One more won't hurt, right? Well, it turns out you can have a lot of fun in a standard Civic, but there is a lot of things that I need to sort. But don't worry, because all of the issues that I mentioned in this video are going to be sorted across the next few videos. So make sure you stay tuned, because this car is going to be going through another transformation. It can only get better from here, right? I always knew that I was a bit of a Honda guy deep down, but now driving one, even standard, these things are so much fun. You can give them so much abuse and they just take it. I can see me really enjoying this whole Honda thing. I'm gonna end the video there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you smash the like button and hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And make sure you turn on the bell notifications so you'll be notified when the next video on the Civic is up. Because I think it's about time we start modding this car, because I can't drive it standard anymore. Thank you so much for watching. You're all legends. Peace.